Hey, good morning, friends. Mark Holmes here with my buddy Cowboy Joe Boo, and as always, thank you guys for watching, commenting, and subscribing to the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, this literally does not work. Let's get open for business, and let's wake up the football gods here this morning. And we had some interesting thing happen the other night. If I could hold on to the remote here, there was a Joe Boo sighting at Major League Baseball. Let's go to the clip here.
Are you kidding me? As a child, there was no bigger movie than Major League, and there was no bigger face than Joe Boo. Joe Boo's had his rum. Joe Boo has basically done everything. He's got a cigar. He's ready to go. He's going to give us luck today.
So you feel like this is a lucky thing?
This is all about superstition. This is no curse. This is one of the things that, look, there's no curveballs today. All right? Sereno can't hit a curveball, but Sereno can hit a fastball and maybe a slow ball too. So home runs, dingers all around for everybody in Cleveland, thanks to Joe Boo.
You know, it's funny because I have some trolls, believe it or not. I actually have some trolls out there that will go through and say, it's that damn voodoo doll's fault that the Cowboys are having the issues that they have. It's your fault. You know, it's kind of funny because I ended up making Joe Boo in 2012. 2012, we were in the middle of the 8-8 seasons, 8-8, 8-8, 8-8, and 8-8 in 2013. And you can actually look at the Cowboys in the time that Joe Boo's been around, and we've only had one losing season, and that was 2015. 2015 was abysmal. 2015 you look at as, oh God, that awful season. Tony Romo, you know, got hurt and tried to come back and got hurt again, and just things were bad. But I think it's time we look differently at the 2015 season. We need to actually embrace the 2015 season because the 2015 season was the impetus for change. If you've actually dealt with somebody who's had an addiction, you know, alcohol or drugs, be it whatever they have, until you hit rock bottom and realize there's a problem, you do not change. And you have to get to that point. And in sports, when you are in that middle area where you're good enough that you might sneak into the playoffs, but not good enough to go all the way, you're bad enough that, you know, you might be in the bottom half of the draft, but not low enough where you get that team-changing player. That's where the Cowboys were in that stuck-in medium of 8-8, 8-8, 8-8. Just, you know, literally one game away from the playoffs every year. But if you made it, you knew you weren't going to go very far. But it was that 2015 season after we let go of DeMarco Murray, after Tony Romo got hurt, that we sucked and ended up with that fourth pick in the draft. That, my friends, is kind of like what happened to the Dallas Cowboys in the past for the 90s. We hit rock bottom, 1-15. We ended up trading Herschel Walker, letting go of our best player to Minnesota, which ended up bringing us draft picks galore that turned into the core of the Dallas Cowboys team of the 90s, bringing in Emmitt Smith and so on. And you can go through those drafts and say, yeah, that was one of the greatest drafts of the Dallas Cowboys history. And there were some great ones. And maybe we'll do a show talking about some of the great drafts that the Dallas Cowboys have had. But it's 2015, that abysmal season that put us high enough where you could get a franchise-changing player. And when you think about that 2016 draft, it's unbelievable. Because had we not let go of DeMarco Murray, we wouldn't be drafting Zeke Elliott fourth. Let's be honest. You wouldn't have had DeMarco Murray and then go ahead and get Zeke. And take a look at where this team would be without Zeke Elliott right now. Zeke Elliott, even though he was suspended for 6 games, still blows away the competition of yardage over the time he's been in the NFL. Zeke Elliott's only problem has been dealing with the NFL. And he truly is the franchise. And if you get a franchise-changing player in the draft, you've already done good. But then to turn around and get Jalen Smith in the second round, a guy who fell because of the injury that was catastrophic, where people said he may never play again. It's not worth the risk. But to get him, he's arguably one of the best linebackers in football, and he only has 2 years of starting under his belt. It's unbelievable. You get those two players in the draft, you've done incredible. Charles Tapper, okay, well, missed on that one. But a Malik Collins. Malik Collins, who, you know, a one technique guy who's gotten about 10 sacks in his career, even though he's been dealing with, 3 foot surgeries. A guy who's probably going to play lights out because this is a contract year. That is an incredible haul. You could look at that and say, if you got that kind of production every year in the draft, you're going to be one of the top teams in football without a doubt. But then to turn around with the compensatory pick, and again, it's kind of crazy how all this stuff fit together. Because you let go of DeMarco Murray, you got the compensatory pick and you use that on Dak Prescott. Basically, you got a quarterback with a pick that really wasn't your pick. In this day and age, when you see that teams end up taking 2-3 picks and trying to move up a couple of spots to grab a franchise quarterback and hope and pray that it's the guy, to get a guy with a compensatory pick who's your starter, who's got the second most victories in the NFL over the course of the last 3 years, hasn't missed a game, still to me has a ceiling and room to improve. That's an incredible draft. But we'll add to that Anthony Brown, and I know people say Anthony Brown, but you got him in the 6th round. And his rookie year, the second half, he played lights out. He's played valuable minutes and had a couple of games during this past season that have been very important for the team. And with the second year of being under Chris Richard, you may see a resurgence of that guy. But even down the line, 7th round pick, you have a project in Rico Gathers. Now, I know Rico hasn't been as much as we'd like, but understand this. Rico played a lot of football last year as a blocking tight end. And I think that there's a plan for Rico because here's the thing. We've heard so much negative stuff about Rico Gathers. Rico Gathers, he's a liability when it comes to blocking. He's going to get somebody killed out there. But yet, he was out there doing a whole lot of blocking, and I do remember seeing some of those big runs of Zeke Elliott, seeing Rico Gathers running down the sidelines with them after making a great block. I think that he was the victim of the Scott Linehan black period with the dark clouds where he got into Linehan's doghouse. And we've seen other players that get in that doghouse and don't get out. We've seen Bryce Butler in that situation. We've seen Des Bryant was not exactly a favorite, but his talent forced you to put him on the field. We've even seen Amari Cooper, who saved our season after basically saying, this offense sucks. We need to do something else because I want to win. Got into that doghouse. I think that you may actually see a little more with Rico Gathers under Kellen Moore. I may be wrong. He may get cut. I don't know. But I'm just thinking that for some reason the Cowboys believe in him and keep him there. So we'll have to wait and see him there. So, in retrospect, had we gone through and Tony Romo stayed healthy that season, probably would have made the playoffs. Who knows how far we would have gone. But you would look at our team right now, and the rebuilding of it would have gone on later. Because what would have happened is you kept, Tony Romo, you make the playoffs and stuff, and you kept figuring, you're close. Tony Romo's got a year or two left. We're going to go ahead and, keep trying to support him with some players to try and keep going that run. And you might not have the same team that you have now. You might be doing the rebuilding right now. You may be out there looking for the franchise quarterback right now. You may end up, going through and now needing that bellwether back right now. But all of those things at 2015 was the beginning of the change in the development of this team. And one other thing I'll add to that as well is you think about the other part that kind of changed, and it may have been the Johnny Manziel moment. When Stephen Jones took that draft card away from Jerry Jones, who wanted to get Johnny Manziel. And you think about, from that point forward, the Dallas Cowboys have been led by Stephen Jones more and more and more and more. to where you could almost look and see Stephen Jones is really running the team. Jerry still has the final say, but Stephen Jones, that was the beginning of him taking over on this team. So where the Dallas Cowboys are now, with the window wide open at making a chance to go for a Super Bowl, when you look and say, yeah, they've got enough talent. We don't know if we have the coaching staff, but we know that they have the talent that can make a run, that you have to put them in the conversation. It all points back to 2015. All right, guys, I got to get to work. I got my day job, and I can't quit that, but I'll be talking about what else, the Dallas Cowboys, any breaking news, we'll be sure to bring it to you guys. And that's about it. I'm Mark Holmes, and I'll see you guys soon.